It is time to breathe again on the latest Breath of Fresh Air webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, Patrick, you're with me, Charles, for another action-packed episode, and let's get started with the Final Four reviews. We'll start with the women's on this particular episode because you had LSU, very surprising from both of us and from what both of us saw happening in there. We both had South Carolina winning, and we didn't see a team beating South Carolina. But apparently Iowa, led by Caitlin Clark, was able to pull that task off. They met LSU in the final, and LSU just shot ridiculously well and scored 102 points in the game, won the game 102 to 85. So number one, from LSU standpoint, this is Kim Mulkey, the head coach. It's her second year there in LSU. We know what she did during her days with the Baylor Bears. And for her to come over to LSU in 2 years and have them win the national championship, that's a phenomenal job by Kim Mulkey. The players who are on there, led by Angel Reese, falling out of control, playing tough. And I want to keep the focus on the action. Now, of course, Patrick, we're going to get to a little bit of the off-the-court stuff. People getting on Angel Reese. Huh?
The chippiness?
Yes. The chippiness that came in there. People getting on Angel Reese for doing John Cena's. For the wrestling fans out there, y'all know what I'm talking about with John Cena, and we will talk about the WWE in a minute. But yes, Patrick did the symbol right there. John Cena, of course, does the "You Can't See Me" all the time. Angel Reese was doing that to Caitlin Clark. And for the context, Caitlin Clark was doing it to people in games before. So for Angel Reese to catch hell for that is comical. It's laughable, but that's what you get in the world of Twitter, I guess. Anyway, in the context of the game, LSU was rising up, and there was a question of whether or not they were going to be able to keep all this up. But man, they did, and give them credit for it. Awesome display by LSU, offensively, defensively. I mean, Caitlin Clark she scored 30-something points in the game they lost. But you could tell, like, she had to work for those. LSU was putting offense on them, and it just kind of turned into a situation where I think that Iowa team, especially coming off of their win in the semifinal against South Carolina, just think they ran out of gas. LSU had more bodies out there that they could run out, and they kept that pace going. I think Iowa just ran out of gas, and it was just too much for Caitlin Clark to put on her shoulders and carry.
Well, yeah, first of all, congratulations to the Tigers, man. Like you said, that was a heck of a performance, man. They balled out. And Caitlin Clark, I mean, look, she just needs one more person to help. That's it. She just needed somebody to help her, and nobody stepped up. Nobody did what they could to really help Caitlin in that situation. I mean, we're talking national championship. It's time to ball. It's time to ball, and I really don't feel anybody on that Iowa team really did. And I'm not taking anything away from LSU's defense and their offense. Like I said, you throw up 102 points. I don't care who you throw up 102 points on. That's a phenomenal offensive performance. You know what I mean? And then to hold that Iowa team to 89 points, that's, again, another phenomenal feat. But if Iowa is going to stand a chance to beat that LSU team playing that way, got to have another body out there to help Caitlin to do something. I mean, like you said, Caitlin threw up 36 points. I mean, she almost had back-to-back 40-point performances, and one of those is against South Carolina. So you got to give her some help, man. You just got to, you know. On the whole John Cena thing that she did, look, I didn't have a problem with Caitlin doing it. I didn't have a problem with Reese doing it. The only thing I thought was bad was that she chased her down. I would have said, you know, if this was anybody else, they would have got teed up for that, and you know it. You can't chase them down. You can't do that. But as far as doing what she did, hey, I mean, she was standing there when I was coming up to the 3-point line and she was doing it. I was laughing. I was like, ooh, Caitlin, shouldn't have done that 2-3 weeks ago, should you? Should you? Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have. Then she started chasing her down, and I was like, come on. But then I was like, oh, well, yeah, you know, here we are, typical LSU people. Because, look, I know how they are. I know how they are. I don't have a problem with a lot of the trash talk, but when she was chasing her down, that's where I had the problem. I was like, come on, just back off. You got the win. Bro, do your thing. Bro, it's fine. But she was chasing her down. I think that's where everybody really had the problem with. I mean, anybody else would have got teed up, and I think that's where everybody's irritated with it.
So I thought it was kind of funny. That part to me was probably the funniest. That she was just kind of trying to just bug it in Caitlin Clark's face. It was like, oh, you didn't see it the first 2 times?
Oh, here, let me show you.
I said, all right, Angel, you probably proved your point now.
Yeah. And look, a little bit of chasing her down. Oh, absolutely. She was literally sitting in the bench with her, bro, and still doing it. You know what I mean? Come on. I mean, like, I would have chased down a little bit, and then I'll walk away. You know what I mean? Oh, she got the hint. She's not looking at me because she already knows. And then, maybe backing up doing it. That I would have, yeah, I've been cool with that too. But to be like right there at the bench, literally right there on her sideline, to be doing it and nobody said anything, I think that's where it was kind of drawing the line.
That's just so funny. Oh, 4 times you didn't see it? Well, make sure you see it this time.
I'm gonna chase you down. I can't wait for the meme to come out where she chases her down to the thing and then chases her to the bus. And then chases her to Iowa. And then she's waiting for the Iowa players to come out. Yeah. That's what I'm waiting on. I can't wait for the meme to come out for that. You know what I mean? I've actually been looking for that one. I've been looking for that one because that would be hilarious. Just chasing her down all the way to the house, at her boyfriend's house.
I think both of them were they were cool about it. I mean, look, Angel Reese, to her credit, she said Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal player. And look, Angel Reese, she's gonna play with those emotions on the sleeve. She mentioned she felt that she was disrespecting her teammate. Is it Morris? Like Allison Morris, I think her name is. Morrison. Yeah. If I got that name wrong, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, if you got it wrong, I got it wrong too.
But she thought she was kind of disrespecting her there, so she carried that with her. She said that South Carolina felt Caitlin Clark was disrespecting them because, hey, South Carolina, going off of what you always say about the SEC teams kind of have each other's back when it comes to these things, when it comes to conference battles. Mm-hmm. And Angel Reese mentioned that regarding to South Carolina. Caitlin Clark was on ESPN today, and she didn't have a problem with what Angel Reese did. She said, hey, she understands it. She knows it. She knows she was doing it. Give her take. And so with that being said, I would just tell the rest of the people who are going to get on Angel Reese for doing that, the whole you can't see me 8 times. Let it go, y'all. Let it go. Like, it is not.
Take your piece.
Yeah. Let it go. I just let's not dwell on this. And personally, I know what a lot of people say when it comes to publicity is, hey, this is awesome. It gets people to talk. It gets people to talk about the sport. Who is this? Okay, Aquarius, Olivia, let it go, hand pink waving. You know what? I'm gonna say hi. You're gonna have to explain what you're talking about. There you go. Unless it's one of those ads. No. But hey, Olivia, glad to see you on there. As a matter of fact, you know what? That I might know Olivia, as a matter of fact. If it's who I think it is. Okay, yeah. And if it's who I think it is, she was my classmate. She was my classmate during my days going to school at the University of North Texas. And I see that you're talking about Angel Reese. I like it. Yep. Yeah, I do it. Okay, cool. It
nice.
Is Nice.
Hey, and by the way, shout out to your North Texas team for winning the NIT, dude.
Yes,
What?
absolutely. Yes, man. What is up, Olivia? So glad to see you. So glad to have you on here, popping up on YouTube. Good to see you. But yeah, it was a good win by LSU. And yep. She mentioned it too, just like what you said, Patrick, about the NIT champs. Let's go. Yep, Mean Green, baby. But yeah, LSU, it was a good win. I'm glad both of them. Oh, there's a promotion. I do it from Twitch. There it is.
Of course. Leave it to Twitch to screw everything up. You know what I mean?
But a good win by LSU. Angel Reese doing her thing, Caitlin Clark doing her thing. And I know a lot of people talking about, hey, the publicity is out there. I like to keep it more toward the action that was on the court. This was the most viewed national championship game ever for women's college basketball.
Yeah.
And 12 million viewers at the peak, Patrick. That's numbers the NFL would love to have.
Oh yeah,
So
I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, dude, honestly, that was probably one of the best games I've watched in women's basketball in a long time. And I'm dating myself back to like the UConn days when UConn was just like phenomenal playing. You know what I mean? And then the fact that Iowa with Caitlin Clark beating South Carolina the way she did, I was like, ooh, this is making for very interesting. The NIL stuff, man. Got everything mixed up.
I think it's an equalizer, Patrick. The NIL transfer portal is an equalizer, and the reason why I've been saying it's good overall, are there gonna have to be maybe a few limits, a few statutes put in place? Sure. You don't want it to be Wild Wild West, even though it pretty much is Wild Wild West.
Oh, right now, yeah. Yeah.
But with what happens with the transfer portal and NIL is more players. Number one, they have a little bit more freedom to go where they want to go. And number two, because of NIL, the students are more willing to stay in school because they know they can make a little bit of money off of their name, image, and likeness. And that will keep them going to college instead of just saying, look, I want to go to the WNBA or I want to go overseas because I'm trying to go ahead and make some money. And then that gets to build the teams up ultimately if you are there for 3-4 years. Like, hey, Olivia mentioned Caitlin Clark again. Caitlin Clark's going to be back next year.
Ooh. Can you imagine what her stocks are going to look like?
Yeah. She's going to be back next
year. Did you see her final season stats?
I didn't see them, but I know it's something crazy.
Holy crap, dude. They're like, I think she scored like 900 points in her entire thing. It was like 900 points on like something crazy, like 62% shooting. It was insane. Like her stats, I was like, how do you beat that season? You go to you just go to the WNBA because the only thing you missed was a freaking national championship that season.
Yeah. She's a beast. I mean, she coming down there, she pulling like Steph Curry, man. Like, you got to pick her up at half court, literally.
I pick her up off the bus.
Yeah.
Her off the bus, bro. She's like, whoa.
So, look, hey, good on women's college basketball for number one. Hey, being on the stage, holding that stage, and hey, I got the arena that they were playing at in the background there because the Final Four was here or they're in Dallas Fort Worth, and I mean it was awesome. The atmosphere that was there, full stadiums, a lot of hype with it. It was good to see them get a little bit of shine, and I think it's gonna continue with how everything went.
Oh yeah, and you got people like Reese and Clark leading the way like that.
You're gonna get Paige Buchers back.
And you got Paige coming back, and dude, and the way South Carolina played, and all of these, dude. this national championship put women's basketball on the map, and I'm freaking excited about it. That was an awesome game to watch, man. It was good. I enjoyed it.
You and me both, man. And speaking of UConn, well, let's go over to the men's Final Four. And Woo! Man, Patrick,
they played on San Diego State.
UConn put it on everybody. They ran that showing, that 6-game stretch they put together. That's one of the most impressive stretches I have seen in a while. I mean, for them to run through the competition like they did, they just going down the line, they beat Iona, and just to think they were trailing at halftime against Iona in the first round. And then they beat St. Mary's, ran through Arkansas, ran through Gonzaga. That Miami team that we thought could get them, they beat them by 13 points.
Yep.
And then beat San Diego State by 17 to cap it off. This was a team, they finished 4th in the Big East, Patrick. And they came up like they did. They looked like
they finished first in the whole dang tournament, or the whole thing. Like,
who are the teams that beat them? That's what I want to know.
Here, I'm that guy. I will find out.
Because for them, I mean, you talk about peaking at the right time. Dan Hurley, man, the coaching job he did with that team and those players coming into their own. Is it Jordan Hawkins? So, quick story, that's Angel Reese's cousin. And so you can imagine how those barbecues are going to be when they meet up again. My man,
who's got the biggest ring?
Right? Yeah. my man, Sunoco. Yeah, the big man inside. Oh, they came together at the right time, man.
Let me tell you, UConn peaked about like, hold on, let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. They finished the regular season with a 14-game win streak.
Yeah.
Beating teams like Villanova, Georgetown, Butler, Florida, Alabama, and they put it on Alabama. And then whatever. And then, like you said, they beat all of those people. But I mean,
whatever, dude, Patrick.
Well, I mean, whatever, because it was like Delaware State and Buffalo and Stonehill. I mean,
whatever.
But they didn't beat Alabama.
We're just gonna sneeze over that, huh? All right.
Yeah, we're gonna sneeze over that because that didn't matter. Because there's 7 losses. They only lost 7 games. They lost to Xavier, Providence, Marquette, St. John's, Eden Hall, and Xavier. Oh, and Creighton. And Marquette. So they lost to Marquette twice. They lost to Marquette twice. They lost to Xavier twice. So there's 4 of their 7 losses.
Jeez.
Marquette and Creighton.
And Marquette was your regular season. I mean, they were your regular season and conference tournament champs in the Big East. So, I mean, maybe somebody should have talked to them to see what they did to beat Connecticut. But the way Connecticut was playing, don't look like it would have mattered. That team was rolling. The defense was on point. That offensive execution just looked good throughout. It just looked like a well-oiled machine. And the guard play just came into their own as well. At Connecticut, it didn't matter who they played, the way they were looking. They just looked like they were going to run over everybody. I'm at a loss for words, really. It was an impressive performance. I really don't have too much more to say. I mean, when you're beating Gonzaga and Arkansas by 20-plus points on the way to the Final Four, there's really not much to say except for that performance is doing all the talking.
Yeah, I'm just saying, hey, UConn, congratulations.
Good
luck next year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Oh man, I mean, It is really just one of those performances that just say, hey, we don't need to say anymore. They talk for us. Because, I mean, you beat everybody by double digits. I mean, most teams at least have one or two games where it comes down to the wire, where you have to execute down the stretch, where you have to lock down on somebody down the stretch just to pull out that win. I mean, Connecticut wasn't nowhere in there. And we had said last week, hey, when they play Miami, potentially that could be a close game there, and we would like to see what happens if they do get into that close game. Well, Connecticut didn't even give that a chance. Yeah.
And like, let's just run through everybody so we don't even have to worry about it.
Yep. And that's how you do it. That is like that. Let it leave none to chance. Just get everybody out of there and coast.
Yep. And that's what they did all the way to the net.
Well, on that note, Patrick, let's get on with this craziness. This craziness about the UFC and WWE merging up. So I guess they're going to be under the same umbrella. Let me see. I'm going to pull this up real quick. I thought I had it up, but I probably, in my hastiness of trying to get everything ready, I deleted it. So let me see if I can find it.
Lame.
I know, I'm garbage. That happens sometime. Hey, welcome to live programming at its best as we look through this. And well, so here's the thing, Patrick. So Endeavor Group, which is they're the ones who own the UFC. Just quick figures here. This is from CNBC. Endeavor will own 51% of the stake. The WWE will own the remaining 49% of the stake. The deal values WWE at $9.3 billion and UFC at $12.1 billion. That is a total of $21.4 billion that is merging together. It's stupid money. That's NFL money. All right. and I guess the question is, how is that going to look like going forward? Now, you understand this is going to be a merger. There's going to be a partnership going on. So are we going to see UFC fighters go over to the WWE for a couple of shows? Or vice versa? Is WWE superstars going to get into a little bit of that UFC? Are they going to fight in the octagon? How does this look? I mean, look, we know the money aspect. We know we just went through the numbers. That's insane. But how is that going to look going forward, man? Do you see that happening where you just have a lot of crossover going on, or you think they're going to kind of just keep it going just with that financial backing?
I think it's just a financial backing for both. I mean, you might see some UFC fighters making a guest appearance on WWE, but I don't know if it would go the other way. To me, UFC is more of a specialized fighting. It's not.
I mean, it mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And I mean, you remember how it was back in the day, Patrick, where you had 300 pounders fighting 150 pounders because it was non-regulated and there was no weight classes.
There's weight classes and it's not a show. It's I mean, look, WWE is look. I don't watch it, but I remember when I used to. And it wasn't WWE, then it was WWF when I watched it. So that's a long time ago, because that was Hulk Hogan, Sting, The Undertaker, Rowdy Piper. You remember all those? Yeah. That was
Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, absolutely.
Ultimate Warrior. The Bash Brothers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the Bushwhackers. Yeah, man.
Bushwhackers. That's what.
Demolition. Legion of Doom. Yeah, dude.
So that stuff was entertaining, man. I enjoyed watching it. I mean, dude, I even went to a couple of them with me and my dad went, you know? So I don't really watch it too much now because, like, there's not really I just kind of lost interest in it because of baseball and basketball and stuff like that. That was more of what I enjoyed watching. But I mean, I watch some UFC every now and then, and man, I tell you, man, them dudes are brutal. I don't know if John Cena can get in that and handle that. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "You can't see me." No, I see you. You're on the ground. That's where you're at. I see you. So I don't know. I mean, I can see them coming over to the WWE, but I don't think they're going to go to the UFC.
Yeah, so you don't see them fighting in the octagon, getting in there.
No.
So I don't either. So I'm with you.
Man, that MMA, man, that stuff is brutal, dude.
It is.
And they're not going to put that on for a show. They're just not. Those guys are built to beat some ass. Let's just call it what it is.
Dude, so when I worked at the American Airlines Center. I actually worked a UFC event. It was one of their main events. It was a pay-per-view event, and the atmosphere in there, it is intense. And so you've heard me say this before, one of the best environments you can go to as a sports fan is a playoff hockey game. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, being in a UFC event, it's close. Now, granted, when people start to drink, it can get a little rowdy because everybody thinks they can fight.
So, I always love those drunk thugs.
Yeah, man, I remember that night when I worked it, man. They shut down alcohol sales an hour early. It was that bad, Patrick.
I don't blame them.
It was
a lot of money lost, but that's a lot of so, good.
And I remember working in the section. So the section I was in, man, I was down around the bowl level. So I'm on the lower level, and if you walk down the steps, you get to the ring seats. And I was that close. And man, you would have there was a couple of fighters who had walked down there. It came through in the entrance. It was just intense, especially when it got closer to the main event. There was a crew of people. I think they were on one of the teams, one of the sponsor teams that they have for the UFC. And they continue to fight. Dominic checks in. I love how Dominic just says hi, Patrick. Just totally ignores me. I'm used to it, Dominic. I understand. I assume after all this,
Dominic, my boy.
I assume after all this time, I won't say you like me. At least you'll acknowledge me a little bit. But no, he just comes on. Hi, Patrick. That's so funny.
No, he ain't acknowledging you on nothing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when you're sitting there at the event, so one of the sponsors, they were there, and they were talking mess. They were getting into it with a couple of other guys, and I remember I did it to myself, Dominic. No, I what? Just talking about how garbage the Cowboys are. All right, I'll take responsibility for that. I'm sorry, but well, I'm not, but I get it. I accept responsibility. I told the dudes, man, I said, hey, look, you don't want Dallas's finest coming down here, because once they come down, it's out of my hands. I can't do anything. They're done. And so, sure enough, man, there was a fight that broke out in the section, and here comes Dallas's finest, cuffing them. Whoa, what did I do? I'm like, I told y'all, man, they're not playing tonight. They will throw you in jail tonight. You're not going to get any warnings here. They're cuffing you. They shut alcohol sales down. It's on. They are not going to put up with it. I mean, look, I just say that.
I love how the whole show stopped when he said that.
Yeah. So apparently Dominic is not happy UConn won this championship. And that's saying it. That's putting it mildly.
Look, back on that, and I know we're talking about the MMA right now, but back on that for just a second. Look, I wasn't happy UConn won that either, man. I was going for Texas, bro.
Right.
But look, when you put together wins like that, they're the most dominant team. They just were.
Nothing you
can do about that.
So you probably said you probably talking to me because he's always mad at me. but look, F you, Charles. So just because
F you and F UConn.
Yeah. So yeah, man. But look, I say all that with the UFC is to say, you know, a lot of the stuff with the WWE, and it's been a while since I've been to a WWE event. Just like you, Patrick, that was probably when they were WWF the last time I actually went to an event. But even there, the atmospheres are charged. Like they're really charged, really like the energy is good. It's one of the best events you can go to, and now that they're merging together, I can only imagine what they're gonna be able to put like during any given show with both of those teams. You're putting two of the best sports entertainment minds together when it comes to Vince McMahon from WWE and Dana White, the UFC president. You're putting these minds together, and who knows where it's going to go from here in terms of the show presentations.
Oh, yeah. To me, I think WWE gets upgraded, and UFC kind of has really good backing now, and both of those men putting that stuff together, they're going to get better fights. You're going to get better entertainment. I think it's an upgrade for both of those organizations, man. I think it's a good merger, but I really do. I don't see too much WWE going to UFC, but I see a lot of UFC coming to WWE.
Absolutely, man. So, with that, Patrick, there'll definitely be something to look forward to, just to see how all that is going to work, how these numbers are going to crunch. It's definitely something to look out for. So Patrick, let's go. We're going to kind of jump around with these next few topics. So let's go to basketball, NBA. And by the way, next week, NBA playoff preview. The playoffs will be starting. The play-in tournament will be April 11th, which, that's a week from tonight. So, let's be ready for an NBA playoff preview. And Stan, if you're watching, you got to be on that show. Yeah, get on. So
Dominic needs his second favorite person on.
Yep, right. Yep. That's so funny. It's Stan only been on there once since he's been watching.
He's on once and you've been booted.
Yeah.
See, you were 2 by default.
Yeah.
Now you're 3 by default.
Calling him New Charles. Why would they call him New Charles? I love it. But the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, that we're kind of talking about them because they've been a disaster, and we knew they would be a disaster. The minute they traded for Kyrie Irving to put him with Luka Doncic, it's been nothing but losses. They've been in high-scoring games, 130 to 120, whatever it is. And they played the Miami Heat on Saturday. Patrick, they had already given up 100 points in 3 quarters. It was Miami had 102 with 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. That tells you how terrible they have been on defense. But the thing with it, Patrick, is they were talking about, and look, this is a report from the Athletics, Shams Chanaria. They were talking about Dallas might shut Luka and Kyrie down. I said that it really, so you're still, as bad as they did, Patrick, they're still in the playoff race. They're a game, coming in, last time I saw the standings, they were a game behind the Oklahoma City Thunder for the last play-in spot. And you're talking about shutting them down now? Like that's just crazy. So we're just you went all in, you traded all these assets to get Kyrie, and you're gonna shut them down.
They're a full game right now.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Now, Luka, to his credit, he had said, no, hey, there's still a chance I'm going to play. So they're supposed to play. I think they play the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night. So I guess he'll be in there for that game. But who knows what happens if they lose and then they just decide to shut him down. But whatever. This has been an absolute sham. What Dominic said, it's true. Yeah. I can see Luka wanting to leave. And truthfully, in my opinion,
he needs to go to Atlanta.
Well, the front office, I don't think it's done them any favors. I think the front office, Jason Kidd, is not that good of a head coach. That's one thing as well. And Mark Cuban, for as good of a businessman as he's been, he has ran the Mavericks down. They won that title in 2011. He decided to break them up. And when he broke them up, they really haven't been the same since. Now, yes, they did get Luka, and they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. But it's been a complete and utter disaster coming off of that season. And I don't know where they're going to go because they traded all their assets. They really don't have any assets. They're going to have a lot of cap issues as well. It's not looking good. And I don't know if what Dominic is saying is, I mean, maybe it could happen. Him going to Miami. Maybe that could be an option going down the line. He said, imagine if Dirk comes back. Well, Dominic, if Dirk comes back, man, he's not going to be able to move well.
He's already been nominated into the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, right.
He can't. Dirk went, oh, no, I made it. No, I'm good.
So, but it's not a good look for Dallas right now, and the fans are a Dirk cherry pick. So it's not good. It is not a good look for Dallas, Patrick.
No, well, we knew it was going to be bad when they went out for Kyrie. We knew that it was going to be bad. I mean, look, Kyrie is a great player.
Offensively. I'm sorry.
One-on-one. When there's nobody else to play, nobody else to pass to, nobody else to do anything. One on zero, he's phenomenal. 1-on-0, he's phenomenal. But we knew that bringing him in, he's a ball dominant player. He has to have the ball to do anything. And my personal opinion, I didn't like this. I didn't like this pick from the get-go. As a matter of fact, I even think we have a show where we were like, no, don't. It was horrible.
Okay. Patrick Dominic, he might be about to hate me more. What I'm about to say here. Dominic, so you had such high hopes for the Mavericks, and maybe you need to stop messing with the Dallas Cubs. Because you had high hopes for the Mavs.
Right. It's really not the bad thing about the Dallas. They made one mistake this year, and they picked up Kyrie. That was it.
Look, that Dallas Fort Worth teams they're not hitting for Dominic right now. He got the Mavs. He got the Cowboys. Ooh, look, maybe get behind the Stars. Get behind the Stars.
They playing good.
Yeah, the Stars in hockey are playing good, and the Rangers, I think they're up and coming. You heard us talk about that last week.
Ooh, yeah, they are up and coming, boy.
I'm on the 4th spot, and there ain't even a 3rd.
No, it's all right. I'll take 1 and 2. Luke Charles has got 3, and you're 4. You should earn yourself the 4th spot. You know who's got 3, Charles? You know who's got 3? Sharpie. We're gonna give the 3 spot to Sharpie. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh my gosh. So I'm sorry, Doc. I knew it. As soon as I said it, I knew it was coming. So I deserve that. My bad.
The 4th spot, man. I mean, like, you got demoted.
Oh my
That's
God.
nobody.
Wow. So yeah, the Mavs, yeah, like you said, Patrick, we knew it was coming when Kyrie was traded for, and it's come to what that's what you expect with Kyrie being on a team now. He has not. He said Patrick won New Orleans to Luka 3.
New Charles 2, Luka 3, and now you are 4.
I'm gonna be 10th before the show is over. Kyrie does not bring success to the team, man. He just doesn't.
That team was better off without him.
Yeah.
It was better off. Look, they went to the Western Conference Finals, like you said, without him. They add him, and now they're 10th, 11th. They're one game. They're in danger of not making the playoffs because they brought on Kyrie.
He said, "I'm going to be behind the Mavs team." I thought I was already behind them. But they're not even gonna make the play-in.
Now, I think they'll make the play-in. But Kyrie is such a cancerous portion of
toxic,
that.
Man.
He's so toxic, and they were, like I said, that team was so much better off. They were without Kyrie, they were in 6th. They were in 6th. They get him, and now they're in 11th. It sucks, man. I hate it. It sucks because Dallas was right there, dude. They're right there.
Patrick, it's your classic story of talent blinding the other stuff that comes with it. Like you said, Kyrie Irving is a phenomenal offensive player. The dude can dribble. He has some of the best handles we have seen in a while. He can finish with either hand at the rim. He's one of the best finishers at the rim. He can hit from anywhere on the court, shot wise. I mean, there's not much he can't do offensively, but the other stuff, it continues to show. And when he was with the Brooklyn Nets, they literally had a better record without him in the lineup than they did. Literally. And Boston ran
another better record without him.
Yeah.
And the only three
poisoned the team. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say he poisoned the team, man.
And then when you go back to Cleveland, yeah, they won a championship there, but it was LeBron James that had to overshadow that. I don't know, man. I think he's a great player. If it's 1-on-1, fantastic player. If he's got 4 other people to have to pass to, he brings down the team.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better than that, man. So, well, yeah, we don't know where Dallas is going from here, but it could be an ugly offseason for the Mavs.
Well, hey, just so you know, them Texas Rangers playing pretty good ball right now.
Well, Dominic, look, we'll
you know what? I'm gonna hold up. Let me get comfortable because I'm gonna enjoy this.
So we'll talk about the NBA Finals and who we have potentially going there next week when we get to the NBA playoff preview. But I will bring this spoiler alert to you. I definitely don't think the Suns are making it there.
Yeah, I'll cover my eyes. I don't need to plug my ears.
No, hey, look, man, Patrick gonna feel the same way I do about the Suns because I know he's done it already. So, hey, you better give Patrick. So, from what I just said just now, Dominique, I want to hear some shade coming toward Patrick because you don't feel like the Suns are getting there. I know you're not going to shade them, but you should. because I feel the same way about it. But he won't shade you, Patrick. I already get that, man. He's like, you're number one on the list. But
I'm number one, baby.
Spoiler alert, Dominic, I do not have the Suns making it to the finals. Sorry. But really for a lot of the same reasons we were talking about with the Mavs. They have good he said the Hawks are at least getting into the playoffs or the play-in.
Hey, you about to go fifth. You put anybody at fourth other than you. Hawks.
I'm going to be
four now.
I'm going to be 10th before the show is over. So I already know. Look, hey,
them Hawks ain't doing shit. But you know what? Those Hawks are they're a 500 team at best, man, and it sucks. But you know what? I mean, I would love to see them at least win the play-in. But they're playing the Raptors, man.
Hey, look.
The Raptors are just as good and bad as we are.
I'm 1 million. I'm 10.
Dude, you're way. You're like
I'm
100 trillion now, dude.
Yeah.
Here.
I lost count of the number of zeros.
No, you're like 1 trillion, dude.
I was gonna say, hey, Olivia, shout out to you again, Olivia, to come on the show. She's gonna be above me on the list, and she
and this is her first appearance, bro.
Yeah, right.
She's already above you.
I know. Oh man. Well, Patrick, hey man, let's talk about Lamar Jackson, and we mentioned Twitter earlier. So Lamar Jackson, of course, the quarterback currently. We'll see if that changes. He said, "There's my number 3, Olivia." So Lamar
Olivia.
Jackson.
Hey, way to show up on the show and be number 2 or number 3.
Right?
Hey, when you get on Breath of Fresh Air, you just don't know where you're gonna land.
Yeah, right.
We know where Charles is gonna land. He's in the slums, but everybody else, bro, we'll find out.
So Lamar Jackson has been, I mean, currently he is the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see if that continues through this saga, contract dispute. He's on the non-exclusive franchise tag. No deals have come out as of yet. You and I, Patrick, are both on record saying he will be a Baltimore Raven next year anyway. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said,
he might be a backup quarterback.
With that being said, you got him. He's coming back on Twitter, and you know how it gets with Twitter. Ooh, Patrick. Now, you know what? Dominic did say that last week. Or was it last week or a couple weeks ago where he said that he thinks he's going to the Falcons? Now, you don't want that, right? You're good with Desmond Ridder?
I mean, I'm good with Desmond Ridder, but, man, don't get me wrong. That's a hell of an upgrade, man. That's a good upgrade. But, I mean, if he doesn't, I mean, I'm good with Ridder. I mean, I don't think Ridder is somebody that's going to take us to a Super Bowl by no means. As of right now, but I mean, it's definitely better than what we've had in the past, I don't know, 12 years.
Yeah.
I think I went on record when we got Matt Ryan. I said we'll never win a Super Bowl with that
man. Oh man, y'all came so close, but we're not here to reminisce about bad memories.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. So we're here. Stuff that. Yeah.
So with Lamar Jackson, he's been on Twitter coming back at people about the injury he had because people were saying he quit on the team. People are talking about the contract dispute, whether or not he should be his own agent. And a lot of people just have differing opinions. We know how that goes. If you're Lamar Jackson, I get it. You don't want to just stand there and let people attack you, especially if you don't, if they don't know the whole story, if they're not in the negotiating rooms, if they're not on the negotiating tables. with the Ravens, what's going on behind the scenes. If they don't know what's going on, how are they going to have their opinion? Now, look, we give our opinions, of course, as well. But I mean, I think we're trying to come from a place. I think there's a good thing. We do a good job of this. We try to come from a place of objectivity. Yes, there are some things we're passionate about when it comes to the shows and the opinions we explain and have. But I think we try to come from a logical place of understanding both sides of the equation, whether that is on the Raven side or on Lamar Jackson's side. When it comes to Twitter, there are just way too many trolls, way too many people who are going to say negative things for you to continue to come at all of them. It's just a losing battle unless you have a whole bunch of burner accounts. But
Kevin Durant,
yeah, but it's just one of those things. Sometimes you have to pick and choose those battles as wisely as you can. And when it comes to the negotiations and stuff, it's probably just best just to not say anything about it. So I don't know. I get why he would come through and say, look, y'all don't know. Y'all know I'm about winning a Super Bowl, trying to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. If I could play, I would play. You can understand someone coming through and saying that when they feel their character is being attacked.
Yeah.
But in Twitter and in Instagram and all these other social medias, and it's just it's a losing battle going into that cesspool.
and this is the thing about it. I mean, look, we all know in the hypersensitive world that we live in, that Lamar Jackson has to know this. Is like you said, going into that battle is like you versus a million people that have their own opinion, that don't want to say anything, but they hide behind the keyboard and they say what they need to say or what they want to say. And there really is no logic or reasoning behind what they say. They just want to say something to stir the pot, right? So when it comes to Lamar Jackson, man, he's a phenomenal quarterback, and he still has a lot of play in his life, and he's going to do great things for whatever team he plays for. Lamar Jackson has to learn one thing: don't listen to what everybody is saying. It's not important when, and I get it, like you said, I get it. When somebody questions your character, you want to defend that. But man, it's great to go in one-on-one to defend your character. Going in like that to Twitter, I mean, Twitter's the worst. That's the worst social media in all of the world. It's the worst one. I don't know why it's still even relevant. I hate Twitter. It's horrible. But people tend to just keep going to it, and Lamar, he just gotta stop. He just gotta stop. Let them say what they're gonna say. Let them say what they're gonna say, and then just move on with your negotiations. And if you end up in Atlanta, hey, fantastic. You end up in Atlanta. Hey, you might end up in the Chargers, and the Chargers with Dominic saying that he hopes they do well this year. Who knows? You never know. It's way too early to even tell if any of these teams are what they're going to do, because there's so much more to that has to go. There's people that's going to be taken off the teams. There's people going to be traded. There's people that's still working out their negotiations, and you just don't know where anybody's going to land right now. And I think Lamar Jackson, wherever he goes, he's going to be phenomenal where he goes. And I don't think he ever would just miss a game because he just wants to. Like, I feel most of those people that's making all that money, a lot of times there's too much love for the game. There's too much love for the game. And when I watch some of these people play on hurt ankles and broken arms, and they just have these big old huge guns on them, they love the game. It's hard for me to say I think he's just faking it and staying out. I don't see it.
The thing, Patrick, you mentioned Twitter. The reason why a lot of people like it, and I'm sure you know this, is because it's instant. You can get your stuff out in so many characters, the least amount of characters, and there's really no, and I think this is with all the social medias. You can say this stuff on a computer on your phone, and there's no check for it. You're not gonna see this person face to face at all, ever, or at least not close up like that. So, so
don't worry about what they got to say.
Right. And so they can go out here and they can be the keyboard warrior, the internet assassin,
and E-Thug.
The E-Thug, yeah.
Sniping from his keyboard. Pew, pew. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, they're not gonna put no face to it, and then most of the time, their profile picture don't even have their actual picture. They have some sort of of a picture covering up their face. So it's just like, give me a break, y'all. And that's the stuff Lamar Jackson probably has to stay away from.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick, a couple of topics before we get on out. The Masters is starting on Thursday.
Yes, they are.
And look, normally when we bring up the Masters, it is in the context of Tiger Woods, seeing if he has a chance, or do we think he would have a chance to get this win. We're not gonna go there tonight, man. It's right now. Look, it's just good to see him on the course, and he seems like he understands, and that he might not have a lot more of these that he's gonna play going forward. I mean, he is 47 years old. He's been racked with injury, so it's just good to see him play, and then we'll just see what happens. No expectation at all. We'll see what happens. But I mean, there's some good golfers out there outside of Tiger Woods. Of course, you know about Rory McIlroy, my man Scheffler. Is a beast. I mean, Justin Day is a good ride. A bunch. I mentioned Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth. What do you think? Yeah. Hey, Dominic, I'm kind of with you. I know some of the golfers. The game is fun to play.
Oh
yeah. I know. I've had the privilege of going out there just for 9 holes, and it's fun. It's peaceful. You go out there, you walk. I mean,
I take me a lawn chair every time because I know I'm going to be on the beach for a while. But I love the game, man. It's so fun. You give me a game where I can pick up a stick and hit a ball, I don't give a crap what it is. I love it. Baseball, golf, give me tennis. I love tennis, man. Give me something where I have to hit a ball. I don't care.
You're good. Man, but I think it's going to be a fun tournament, man. I mean, I don't really know a whole bunch of them to really pick a winner, but what is interesting is this will be the first time in a while that some of the live golfers, the ones who went to live, will be face-to-face more with the guys who stayed in the PGA Tour. So I think that would make for an interesting dynamic there to see those guys playing against each other. I think it's going to be it's going to be competitive. I mean, it's a major, of course, and it's probably the most prestigious major out of the 4 in the Masters. But knowing the live golfers are going to be there too, I think that's going to be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the lineup. I hadn't even looked at the lineup yet because I gotta make my picks and see who I think could possibly.
Spring might have started on March 20th.
Whoa, what is that?
Oh.
I was looking for the lineup, and apparently I got ads. But I can't find the lineup. I'll look for the lineup. I'll put my prediction in on that.
Well, Patrick, before we get on out, shout out to Jim Nantz. All right, so Jim Nantz, of course, he's the longtime play-by-play guy, play-by-play commentator on CBS Sports, and he just called his last Final Four last night.
Oh, so he did. So he is going to quit.
Yeah. Ian Eagle, who is a good commentator in his own right, he'll be the one taking over for Jim Nantz starting next year. But yeah, Jim Nantz is done now. I think he will still be he'll do the Masters. He'll still do the Masters which is also on CBS Sports, and he'll still be on the NFL coverage, the main crew with Dominic, with Tony Romo on the crew. So he'll still be doing that. But and just a shout out for a great career doing that, man. I mean, he was the main guy on CBS Sports' coverage of the NCAA tournament or March Madness for over 30 years. Remember when he took over for Brett Musburger, and you know how good Brett Musburger has been. So just shout out to him, shout out for a great career. And me personally, hey, I mean, with me being in the journalism industry and knowing a lot about these commentators and stuff, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss him, man. He just has that good voice for those moments. So I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, I will too.
Okay, real quick. Let's see, off topic, quick question. What do I think will happen to Anthony Davis once LeBron leaves and he thinks he'll go to the Bulls? All right, so real quickly, Dominic, to answer that question, I like your angle there. Anthony Davis is a Chicago native. So I can see him going to the Bulls if it does turn out to be one of those things where he just says he wants to get traded, he wants to leave. Whenever that is, LeBron leaves or goes and plays somewhere with the Sun, whatever that happens. I could totally see him going to the Bulls. Yes, I think that's a very good assessment. What you got, Patrick?
That's hard to tell, man. I mean, I don't know. He's such an injury-prone player. I don't know, man. I that's a good question, and I definitely will. Give me a minute to think about it. I mean, it's a good angle. I mean, I can see him going to the Bulls, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he went somewhere like New Orleans too.
Back to New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I can see both of those for sure. But that's a good angle by Dominic going to the Bulls. With that, y'all, that will conclude this edition of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Y'all make sure y'all visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. I did have he said bye, Patrick.
Hey, thanks for showing up, man.
Yep, take it easy there, Dominic. And Olivia, pleasant surprise to you showing up. Thanks for showing up. Continue to come on, and you know, I'm glad that you was interacting with us when we were talking about the women's college basketball game. So shouts out to Olivia, Dominic, everybody else who was watching and will watch later. Y'all take care, and next week look forward to the NBA playoff preview. So everybody take it easy. Patrick, are you doing a shorty this week? All right, cool.
Yeah, I gotta find out what I'm gonna do it on.
I actually wrote an article about, Dominic, you might want to check out that article. I wrote about 3 teams that are going to fall short of expectations in the NBA, and guess what? The Suns are one of them. Okay, on that note, we're going to get out. All right, Patrick.
Dallas is the other one. I already can tell you.
All right, y'all take it easy and have a great rest of the week.
Go Braves.